Welcome back, students. This video is the last of the series in the atomic structure, the chapter 2 for the first BSc students in the first semester studying in Tumkur University. I'm Aisha Siddiqa, Assistant Professor in Government First Aid College, Tumkur. Now, after going through this video, you should be able to understand certain things like how to write the electronic configuration of the atoms up to the atomic number 30, stability of half-filled and completely filled orbitals, what is the reason behind it, and also the concept of exchange energy. We will also learn about the anomalous electronic configuration, taking chromium and copper as examples. Let's have a recap of what we studied in the previous video. We learned about certain principles like Aufbau principle, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, and Pauli's exclusion principle, which have to be followed while filling the electrons in the orbitals. The first rule that we have to follow while filling the atomic orbitals or by writing the electronic configuration is this. Each electron shell can hold a maximum of 2n square electrons, where n is the shell number or n is the energy level. For example, if n is equal to 1, it can take up only 2 electrons, that is the K shell. Now when you come to the L shell, n is equal to 2, so therefore it can take up 2 square, that is 4 into 2, that is equal to 8 electrons. Similarly, the next shell, when n is equal to 3, it can take up 18 electrons. And all these are referred to it indicates the stability. The rule 2. These electrons which we are filling, they can be accommodated in different orbitals such as sp, d and f orbitals. Maximum number of electrons in each type of orbital is determined by its capacity, the electron holding capacity. For example, s orbitals can take up only 2 electrons, p can take up 6 electrons, because if the spin is in the opposite direction, if it is spin pairing takes place, s can take up 2 electrons, p can take up 6 electrons, because there are 3 orbitals p, x, y and z. Similarly, d can take up 10 and f can take up 14. F orbital can take up 14 electrons. Now next rule, that is the rule 3. In the ground state of an atom, the electrons tend to occupy the available orbitals in the increasing order of energy. That is, the lowest energy level has to be filled first. Therefore, the order goes like 1s, 2s, then 2p, 3s, likewise. So here, which rule is followed? The Aufbau principle has to be followed here. And the next rule specifies that any orbital may have 1 or 2 electrons at the most. Any orbital can have an electron of either the parallel spin or they can be paired up. Here we are talking about Pauli's exclusion principle. Now 2 electrons can occupy the same orbital only if they have opposite spins, anti-parallel spins. Well, coming to the last rule, that is rule 5, when several orbitals of equal energy, that is degenerate orbitals, as you have seen in case of p orbital, d orbitals are available, the electrons are filled singly from the lowest energy level to the highest level, then they start pairing up. This is known as Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Now, following all these rules, this is how the electronic configuration of various elements have been written here. We start with hydrogen with the symbol H, and it has got the atomic number of 1 and the electronic configuration is 1s1. Helium with the atomic number 2 and the symbol is He, that is 1s2. Lithium 3, 2 and 1, first energy level and the second energy level, 1s2, 2s1. In beryllium, the second electron pairs up here to give us 1s2 and 2s2. Starting from boron, the p orbitals get filled up like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6. 6 has got, that is for neon. Neon behaves as an inert gas here. Now next we start off with the 3 s block elements with respect to alkali metals like sodium, magnesium, aluminium and silicon. Here 3s orbitals are filled up and here 3p orbitals start getting filled up. You can see here the first level takes up 2 electrons, the second one takes up 8 electrons, as we have seen following the 2n square rule. Now as we go further, sulfur to chlorine, potassium, These are all alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. So this is the electronic configuration. Now I want to draw your attention to two particular elements. It's chromium here and copper here. Chromium having the atomic number of 24. It has got the electronic configuration of 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d5 and 4s1. Please do remember there is a change here. 4s2, 3d3. So here it is not 3d4, 4s2. It is 4s1, 3d5. Please remember this. Similarly, do remember copper. Copper has got the atomic number of 29 with the symbol Cu here. 1s2, 2s2, 3s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d9. After 8, it is not 9. There are two elements having d is equal to 10 here. Okay, and 4 is 1. Please do remember these two things. Later on, we are going to talk about in the next slide about these two elements. So this is with respect to the noble gas configuration. We can even write the electronic configuration in terms of noble nearest to noble gas configuration, likewise like this. Now let us talk about something called the stability of the half-filled orbitals and also the stability of the completely filled orbitals. Now the stability of the half-filled orbitals, it can be attributed to the exchange energy. Now, usually following the above principle, Hund's rule and Pauli's exclusion principle, all these electronic configurations are written, of which one has got an exception. So, certain elements which I referred to, like chromium, which is having a half-filled orbitals, there is a change in its electronic configuration from this rule. It is not followed. So, what happens is when two subshells differ slightly in their energies, electron can definitely shift. Please remember, an electron, it shifts from the subshell of lower energy to a subshell of higher energy. And such a shift results in the orbitals of the subshell of higher energy level getting either completely filled or half filled. For example, as I showed you, in case of chromium, the electronic configuration is not 3d4 and 4s2, it's 3d5, 4s1. So what is happening? One of the electron from 4s2 orbital gets unpaired and moves on to the 3d level. Similarly, what happens in case of copper is its electronic configuration should have been 3d9, 4s2, but they are almost having similar energy. Therefore, unpairing of this particular electron, s electrons takes place with respect to their spins, and it will occupy the 3d orbital. Hence, the electronic configuration has been found to be 3d10 and 4s1. Now, apart from there is a shift of the electron from the lower level to this higher level, it also makes a molecule to be more stable both the times, when it is completely filled and when it is half filled. And it can be attributed to the reason that there will be a very small amount of shielding. So what happens in case of 3d orbitals? The distribution becomes symmetrical. For example, if 3d5, that is 5 orbitals will be in the same parallel direction, spin will be in the same direction, and electrons will move close to the nucleus and they will be held tightly. Okay, that leads to the stability. There is shielding decreases and they will be held tightly. Stability will increase. Apart from that one, there is one more possibility, that is there is something called exchange energy, and that will be larger in case of the orbitals having half filled or completely filled orbitals. Here what happens is more number of electrons with the identical spins will be there, and more the number of electrons with the identical spins, more will be the exchange energy or exchange with the other orbitals. I'll show you this with an example. Because of which what happens? More energy will be released due to the exchange, and hence it leads to the stability. Now let us understand what I am trying to tell you here. The concept of exchange energy. What is exchange energy? It is the number of possible transitions of the electron in the same subshell. Remember, it is the number of possible transition of electrons in the same subshell. Larger the exchange energy, then more will be the stability. Let's come to this one. This is the electronic configuration of the d orbitals, which is having half-filled orbitals. So this electron has got possibly, it can exchange itself with 1, 2, 3, 4 different electrons. So this electron, which is in the lowermost state, orbital here, it has 4 possible orientation where it can get exchange itself. It's about higher levels. Now the second electron, it can exchange itself how many times? 1, 2, 3 different orbitals. Therefore 4 plus 3, 7. This can get exchanged with these two possible exchanges, and here this has got only one possible exchange. There is only one. That is, number is 1. It can get exchanged because it all have got similar spins here. So the total number of exchanges will be equal to 10. So as the exchanges happen, it releases the energy and leads to the stability. Okay. So if they are having similar spins, identical spins, then the exchange will be more, and that leads to the stability, which does not happen when it is filled here. I hope you understand. If it is not filled here, there are only 4 here and 4s2 happens, then the number of exchanges will be reduced, leading to the reduction in the stability. And this also is the reason for anomalous electronic configuration, which we already have studied now. So for chromium with the atomic number of 24, we expect this kind of a electronic configuration. If you count here 2 plus 2, 4 plus 6, 10, 11, 12, 12 plus 6, 18, 19, 20, this should have been 4, 24. But actually, you have to observe this particular thing, 4s2 and 3d4. It is not 4s2, 3d4, it is 4s1, 3d5. What has happened? One of these electron gets unpaired and goes to the 3d level. Okay. So it is shifted to the 3d orbital, makes it half filled, and we already have seen in case of half filled orbitals, the stability is more. Okay. Hence chromium will be more stable. Similarly, in case of copper also, it should have been for 29. For 29, the value should have been 3d9 and 4s2. I'm sorry, this has got exchanged. Just one second. Actually, it is 4s1, 3d10. This should have been 4s2, 3d9. There has been a little mistake here. So what happens here also, the exchange takes place, and that leads to the stability of this particular thing. What is the uses of electronic configuration? Electronic configuration helps in determining the valency of an element. It helps in predicting the properties of a group of elements as elements. This is referring to the periodicity. Like elements with the similar properties, they occur in the same group and they exhibit similar properties, and it is responsible for the periodicity. And many a times the properties like atomic spectra, etc., can be explained based on atomic electronic configurations. Okay. And many properties like color of the substances and the flame test, the color of complexes, etc., they all can be explained based on electronic configuration. So these are the books which I have referred for this particular topic. Thank you for watching and have a nice time.